One of the world's most beautiful cities is at risk of a powerful earthquake that could occur in the near future. Experts warn that there are 4 potential and seismically active stress epicenters in the Bay Area, in the San Andreas Fault zone. According to the latest calculations, any powerful tremor in the area can have quite severe consequences. Thus, experts believe that the coming earthquake could be at least 7 points on the Richter scale. The last time an earthquake of this magnitude occurred in San Francisco in October 1989, when 63 people were killed and almost 4,000 people were injured. The most destructive in the history of the city was an earthquake of 7.8 points, which occurred in April 1906. Then the number of deaths amounted to about 3,000 people. About 80% of the city's structures were destroyed. Researchers hope that preliminary calculations will help San Francisco to avoid similar victims in the future. Scientists do not cease to warn about the growing heralds of coming cataclysms. On the one hand, the news about the expected earthquake in California, which could be a disaster, and on the one hand, the news about the expected earthquake in the area of the tectonic fault, Hayward, in the next few decades, cannot surprise that California shakes. Heard even people who are completely far from seismology, if only because they have watched numerous movies catastrophes, playing this future event. Point 18. April 18, 1906. At 5 hours and 12 minutes, San Francisco was shaken by a shock of seismic waves with a magnitude of 7.7. About 3,000 people died, but about 300,000 were left homeless. The relatively small number of victims was due to the fact that the city had not yet developed high-rise construction. After the earthquake, there was a shift of lithospheric plates by an average of 7 meters along the San Andreas Fault, which separates the Pacific Plate from the North American Plate. Under normal conditions, the rate of displacement is millimeters or tens of millimeters per year. But here, such a powerful jump. In 1989, October 17th, near San Francisco, there was a new earthquake, a magnitude 7.1. This time the plates shifted by 2 meters. 62 people died. More than 3,500 were injured. 18,000 houses were destroyed. The fact that in the 20th century in California began to pay special attention to earthquake resistance of structures helped here, but the is coming. And it won't come sometime in the infinitely distant future. It is already ripening. It is shown by the instruments monitoring the San Andreas Fault. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, the impact may become a real catastrophe, which will affect about 10 million people. This realization of the inevitable and its expectation forms a special mentality of the inhabitants, which is very different from the way of thinking of the inhabitants of calmer regions of the world to asking what to do. If a nightmare, earthquake, or volcanic eruption happens, there you have to wonder when it will happen. But it's not just earthquakes that ruin people's lives. Southeast Asia, Australia, the Caribbean, and the United States are constantly affected by tropical storms, and hundreds of tornadoes form every year in the central part of the North American continent. Floods regularly claim thousands of lives and cause massive damage in China, Vietnam, Burma, Central and Latin America, India, Africa, and even Western Europe. In general, there are far more dangerous places to live on the planet than safe ones. Specialists there regularly remind of the inevitability of the disaster that must be accepted, and the population understands the fairness of these warnings. Nowadays, a California resident knows that an earthquake is coming, which means he has to decide whether to build a house that will withstand the impact of the elements, or whether it is better to make it light and inexpensive, with the expectation that if the elements strike, it will be survivable. He understands why U.S. FEMA, the equivalent of the DHS, asks for food and drinking water supplies, family drills and first aid, communications, and other useful skills. He knows that the rescue workers themselves will be in distress and can only count on help from afar, and it will still have to wait. Catastrophes don't do planning, but you can know what disasters may affect your area, how to receive emergency warnings, and where you will go. If you and your family need to evacuate, check out the related links to learn what to do before, during, and after each type of emergency. We all need to actively prepare. Each of us can help first responders by learning how to properly respond to emergencies and respond to disasters. Where we live, Work and visit. The goal of NPM month is to get more individuals, families, and communities involved in preparedness activities at home, work, business, education, and religious institutions. When we nod at developed countries, we forget that their prosperity is a consequence of tireless work and following instructions. We need to ask ourselves whether our elderly parents have been instructed on what to do in this or that situation, whether the house has been checked for places of escape in case of fire, what to do in case of flooding. Responsibility cannot be shifted to someone else. You have to be responsible for your own salvation and the salvation of your loved ones in the first place. All the more so because all good things come to an end one day. A peaceful existence also comes to an end. Collected scientists' predictions about what may happen in the near future due to global warming and increased activity of the sun. The Earth is undergoing serious climatic changes that may cause a number of serious natural disasters and catastrophes. The United States is at particular risk. Scientists believe that the massive wildfires in California, caused by hydroclimatic shock, are just the beginning. A number of dire predictions are being made about what may happen in the near future on the American continent. Underground activity. A magnitude 9.2 earthquake would be a disaster. In addition to Los Angeles, the cities of Seattle, Tacoma, Eugene, and Portland will be affected. A 30-meter tsunami wave may hit the coast, which will complete the destruction. The water will flood hundreds of kilometers of coast and penetrate into the interior of the country, flooding the lands of the state of Oregon. The USA expects multi-billion-dollar losses and millions of victims. According to seismologists' calculations, it will take up to 3 months to restore electricity in areas 100 kilometers away from the ocean coast, and hospitals will be able to work normally only in a year and a half. According to scientists, the next manifestation of the underground element has all chances to become very powerful, which will lead to catastrophic consequences for Los Angeles and San Diego. As Thomas Jordan, director of the Southern California Seismology Center, figuratively put it, the southern part of the San Andreas Fault is 9 months pregnant. Local officials believe that Californians should already be preparing for a natural disaster to avoid the tragic consequences of an earthquake. Recall also that in 2005, scientists made a similar prediction until 2024, and the probability of such an event was estimated at 80 to 90%. The previous conclusion, made after research in the 90s, was even more optimistic. Only 62%. The scientist presented an AI-based software module for forecasting storms, earthquakes, and volcanic eruptions. The software is part of a meteorological and ice monitoring complex that can independently detect the centers of natural disasters and predict their trajectory. It is a powerful reminder of the power of nature, but it is also a reminder of how important it is to be prepared for any challenge, and that even after the worst disasters, we can recover and continue to live. Take care of yourself and your loved ones. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like this video.